It's a scene that's been in too many households in America. At the first front end of that video, a child finding a gun within the cushions of their couch. It goes off. Everyone's mad at this kid for making loud noises, except there's guns probably all over the house. As you saw, the man who then found it later, it went off again in his hand. So it kind of doesn't matter who's holding it. It fires and it can kill people. But who cares? They were probably protecting themselves from someone trying to break into their house. But there have been consequences. Let's look at those details, because this 28-year-old Ohio man who was now been charged with child endangerment and neglect from his firearm storage. This is somewhat new, I suppose. Matthew Rivas of Columbus was convicted in Franklin County on April 4th after his young child located a gun in a couch cushion and fired it, nearly striking himself in the face with a bullet, causing burns and short-term hearing loss. Oh, that's what they said in the news release. Rivas pleaded guilty to 1 count of child endangerment and 2 counts of negligent firearm storage. Those are both misdemeanors. Judge Jayar Jackson sentenced him to 10 days in jail and 2 years of probation, and also gave him a $150 fine and ordered his gun be confiscated and destroyed. And during his probation period, he's barred from owning or using a gun. Pause. During his probation period, he's barred from using a gun. Afterwards, I guess he's just learned his lesson, and he can go back to leaving guns and couch cushions around children. Have they threatened to take his kids away? Have they tried that yet? Because, again, guns going off around his kids. What about that is going to happen? He's going to get some gun safety classes, maybe never have a gun again. You know, people's driver's licenses go from being suspended to revoked when they do horrific things on the road that can harm others. In this case, it's the guns, though. Those are sacred in our country, but they're doing something. And immediately, Adrian, it reminded me of this. And I think I saw you mentioning this as well. From that 6-year-old who shot his teacher in Virginia, this is what happened.
The latest on a shocking incident in Virginia, and shocking is the word here. The shooting of an elementary school teacher, Abby Zwerner, allegedly by a 6-year-old student on Friday. You heard that correctly. A 6-year-old student shot his 25-year-old teacher. She is in stable condition this morning, and we're very happy to tell you that she's showing signs of improvement.
Let's check out this headline of what happened with that child's mother as well, because the mother of that kid who shot their teacher is charged with child neglect. A little slightly different, similarly. And you saw that teacher, Abigail Zwerner, who I think she was also filing charges against the school or the district because she had been warning them about the issues and what she had been hearing. I think maybe this particular child or another talking about, or she was warning them of it beforehand, but we don't do anything about gun violence until someone's dead. So anyway, along with those charges of neglect, she was also charged with reckless firearm storage. That is the one that they've been pushing hard here. And also, of course, the kid was not criminally charged. But then again, how much are they affected now? Now you're hearing about your parents going through this, all because you got to have that gun in the house and right next to where the kids can have access to it, Adrian.
You know, the thing is I like this movement toward going ahead and charging the parents, because the fact is that you are operating a household and you are the one in charge, and children are vulnerable. Children are subject to whatever you say because you are the parent. And thus, by having weapons accessible to them, these deadly firearms that they can get access to, that's a you issue and that's a you problem. And these parents need to be held accountable for it. And the thing is, I actually think it should be more than child endangerment, like that young man who had shot up that school, I think it was somewhere in Michigan, who are now facing actual charges for the deaths that happened as a result, knowing that their child was in need of help and was issuing cries for help, and yet they bought him a gun instead. The reality is that if you choose to own a gun, you should be responsible for what happens with that gun. And if you are not ready to be held accountable, you are not ready to have a gun. Just like if you own an automobile and you were to let someone drive it and you knew they were drunk or that they could not drive adequately, you are responsible. You can be sued. You would be the one on the hook. So why not for a firearm?
I hear about this thing called crime deterrent. Actually, there's another law that's in place. If you're caught, or if someone that you're committing a crime with ends up dead, or someone else ends up dead in it, and you didn't actually pull any triggers, guess what? You can still be up for capital murder. Even if the cops shoot maybe, say, your accomplice in the middle of, say, a robbery or something like that. It's to keep people from doing it. If you care about things like property getting taken or people getting robbed, which we should, but do we also care about things like this? It's exhibited every day about how much we care about who dies from gun violence, specifically children, which will say for the 108th time, it is the leading cause of death among children in this country. Yes, just this one. Fine.